Sup guys, it's Alex here, and welcome to another edition of the Bracketology update. This one is for the January 4th, 2018 update, and Happy New Year if you didn't see my New Year vlog, and the Merry Christmas vlog is a mix of both and all that. I hope you guys had a wonderful New Year, and we're hitting that stretch where it's now conference play in the men's basketball season and women's basketball season too. And there's been some crazy changes to the bracket so far after these first few weeks. Louisville is now in a play-in game as an 11 seed, as you can see there, against Boise State, against Arkansas. Oklahoma is now projected to be a 2 seed. Virginia is now a 2 seed as well. Kentucky and Clemson are moving up over there. Arizona State, Michigan State, Villanova, and Duke are all remaining 1 seeds. I think out of the bracketology that Joe Lunardi made today, I think this would be the weakest region of them all, and kind of the most hard to predict because you got Arizona State, Oklahoma, and Wichita State. I think any of those teams could win. Texas Tech, after beating Kansas, can be a sleeper. Texas A&M is falling a bit off right now. Notre Dame has already fallen to an 8 seed over there while I'm talking about disappointing teams. And then I think the Midwest over here would be the toughest part of the bracket with Michigan State, Arizona, Kansas, Virginia, all these household names. Gonzaga, who made it to the national championship game last year. UCLA, who just beat Kentucky a couple weeks ago. And so, yeah, those are the NCAA teams in their current form in the bracketology, as Joe Lunardi would predict. And as always, if you guys have been following me, and just a little quick plug to subscribe if you haven't already, I make these weekly bracket videos and these brackets on Bracketify.com that you can go and vote and make your own picks and stuff like that before the tournament even happens. And so if you have friends like that you want to, you guys want to compare and all that jazz, you can go ahead and click that link in the description. I'll go ahead and put it down there for you. And so let's go ahead and go in with my picks. I'll go ahead and give you guys some quick analysis and stuff like that. Nothing too fancy or in-depth because I don't know a whole lot about these teams right now. We'll see how everybody pans out in conference play. But we know that Duke is going to beat the UMC Dogs. I don't know what their thing is. I got to take off that CC cleaner thing right there. I think that Michigan would beat Florida. Florida's been one of those disappointing teams this season. And then, once it loads, come on. And I think that this would be a good game right here. I think Seton Hall will probably beat Kentucky. But you know what? I'm going to go with Western Kentucky playing spoiler here. They already beat Purdue earlier in the season. I think that they'll beat Seton Hall. Then TCU will beat East Tennessee State. I think Tennessee will beat New Mexico State. New Mexico State beat Miami, Florida a couple weeks back. But I think that Tennessee is going to be able to pull out that victory. Purdue would beat Northern Kentucky. And Florida State, after beating North Carolina last night, not too confident in them, even though they beat them. They played awful the final 2 minutes of the game, but I think they beat St. Mary's. Xavier would beat Robert Morris. Arizona State would beat Kansas. Then I think Nevada would beat SMU. Texas Tech would beat South Dakota. Texas A&M would beat Lipscomb. And then, this one's pretty split right now. We got Arkansas facing the winner of the first 4 game between Boise State and Louisville. I think that Louisville would beat Boise State, and then Arkansas would beat Louisville, so I'm going to go with Arkansas there. Wichita State would beat Princeton. I think Syracuse would beat Creighton, and then Oklahoma would beat Montana. Villanova would beat the winner of NC Central and Colgate. I think Notre Dame would beat Rhode Island. Even though Notre Dame just lost their top player named Colson, I want to say his first name is like Brendan or something like that. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks, but he'll be back, or like 8 weeks or something like that, but he'll be back in time for the NCAA tournament. Clemson will beat Lafayette. Kentucky will beat Ball State. I think Cincinnati will beat the winner of Maryland and Baylor, which I think Baylor would win that matchup. North Carolina will beat Charleston. Butler will beat Alabama. I'm surprised here. Most people are picking Alabama, but Butler just beat number 1. I don't know why those updates keep appearing. Butler just beat number 1 Villanova this past weekend. I got to go with Butler there. West Virginia is going to beat Drake. Michigan State's going to beat the winner of New Orleans and Texas Southern. I think Texas would beat Missouri. And then Miami, Florida will beat Tulsa. And then Arizona would beat Murray State Racers. I think Gonzaga would beat UCLA. Kansas would beat UC Santa Barbara. Auburn would beat St. Bonaventure. And Virginia would beat Radford. Didn't go with a whole lot of upsets there, but we'll see what happens as the bracket goes along. Duke is going to beat Michigan and move on to the Sweet 16. TCU would beat Western Kentucky. Purdue would beat Tennessee. Xavier would beat Florida State. Arizona, or just like last year, I think Xavier beat Florida State down there in the bottom left side of the bracket to move on as an 11 seed. I want to say Florida State was a 3 seed. And Arizona State's going to beat Nevada. Then I think Texas Tech would pull off the upset here against Texas A&M. I'm the only one who thinks so. Then Wichita State will beat Arkansas. Oklahoma and the amazing Trae Young are going to move past Syracuse. Villanova will beat Notre Dame. Kentucky will beat Clemson. Clemson has been a surprise this season, but I think Kentucky's going to move on there. North Carolina will beat Cincinnati. And then West Virginia will beat Butler. And then I think that Michigan State will beat Texas. I think Arizona will beat Miami, Florida. Kansas, what is going on with all these things over here? And then Kansas will beat Gonzaga. And then, this would be a good game, Auburn and Virginia. I think that would surprise a lot of people and be a good game. I got to go with Virginia there, though. Then for a spot in the Elite Eight, Duke versus TCU, got to go with Duke. I think Purdue would beat Xavier along with these people who have voted before me. Arizona State would beat Texas Tech. Oklahoma with Trae Young will beat Wichita State. Gosh, I want to go with Kentucky, but I was there for their game against Georgia. They struggled on the road against LSU and did pretty bad at home, honestly, against Georgia. But they destroyed Louisville by 29 points, so I guess we'll see what kind of team UK turns out to be by the end of the season. But as of right now, I would pick Villanova. And then North Carolina and West Virginia, I would pick West Virginia. Moving on, even though nobody else is. Michigan State would be Arizona. And then I think Kansas would beat Virginia. Then for a spot in the Final Four, we got Duke versus Purdue. I'm going to go with Duke. Then Arizona State and Oklahoma. I think that Arizona State is a more complete team. Trae Young will cool off. He'll still be the amazing player he is, but I don't think his supporting cast will help him out enough. I think Arizona State moves on there. Then I think West Virginia beats Villanova. And then Michigan State beats Kansas. Then for a spot in the national championship game, Duke and Arizona State. I'm going to go with Duke. They're the more complete team. They get a lot of pros with Marvin Bagley, Trey Duval, all those good guys, Grayson Allen. And then I think Michigan State will beat West Virginia. And then in the national championship game, Duke will beat Michigan State. Even though Michigan State's number one in both the polls right now, and I've been picking Michigan State to be the champions out of I think 5 out of the last 6 brackets I've done. I just don't think they'll be able to pull it off against Duke right now. Michigan State hasn't really played anybody tough since the North Carolina game, and so I'm going to have to go with Duke there. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave your comments and thoughts down in the comments. Be sure to click that link in the description to vote. I'll go ahead and put that one down there. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more and for these weekly bracketology videos, and I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching.